So now let's take this a little further. We're going to, for the next two chapters, we're going to be looking at data like this just at first the simplest level. In this case, we're going to look at output income, or GDP, and relationship to consumption and savings. In the next chapter, we're going to start to add business spending, then we're going to add international spending, then we're going to add government spending. But we're going to start at the basics. We're going to look at consumption and savings in billions of dollars and our propensities to consume and save. Propensities is an old-fashioned word for tendencies, okay? So what do we have here? We have, first of all, levels of output and income. And this is a model, so to simplify, we're going to assume that gross domestic production is exactly equal to disposable income. You can read down here later about why that is theoretically possible, but what we're doing it for is just for simplicity's sake. So we have a GDP of $370 billion, of which we consume, that's the C, GDP equals consumption, right? We consume plus savings, okay? Consumption spending of $375 billion. Now, we only earned 370, we just saved. We spent more. We bought more goods and services than we produced, okay? So what is our average propensity or tendency to consume? Well, you take the amount we consume you divide it by our income, and you find out we spent over the whole 1.01. Our propensity to save, that's the savings divided by the income, was negative. And of course, the two of these have to equal 1. So if this is 1 plus 0.01, this has to be minus 0.01. Leave marginal for a minute. Now our income goes up. Each time it's going to go up by $20 billion. Again, it's a model. It goes to 390. And the 390, we spend every penny of it, which means we save nothing, which means our average propensity to consume was the whole 1. And our average propensity to save was nothing. We saved nothing. We add another $20 billion to our economy. Goes up to 410. And now we consume 405. We don't consume all of it. Notice? And we save 5 billion. Or, in a percentage, we spend 99% and we save 1%, right? Here, the next level, we get to $430 billion, and we spend 420 of it and save 10 of it. What are we doing? We're spending 98%, saving 2%. Each time we go up by 20 billion, our consumption goes up, but not by the whole, and our savings goes up again. But each time, our tendency to spend gets smaller and smaller. Whole, 99%, 98%, 97%, 96, 95, 94. Now here we have two 93s. That may be because we're talking about a rounding error. Here on savings, there is none, and there's 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%. And again, for the last two, they're both 7%. But what's obviously happening is the percentage of extra money, we get $20 billion each time extra. And each time, because we have more money, we spend more, but we spend a slightly smaller percentage more each time, and we save a slightly larger percentage time each time. We save a larger percentage each time of our total income. So that is on average what we consume and save. But there's something else at the margin. If we get an extra 20 billion, see 20 here, 20 here, 410 to 430, 430 to 450, what do we do with the extra money? Well, we got an extra 20. here are the extra 20, and we went from saving 375 to 390, 15 of the 20. We went from 390 to 410. Again, we spent 15 of it, okay? We saved 5 of each time. Each time we get an extra $20 billion. We spend 15 billion of it, we save 5. Again, we get 20 billion again here. Our spending goes from 420 to 435, spending 15 of the 20. Our saving goes from 10 to 15, saving 5 of it. Or if you look over here, this is the formula, the marginal propensity to consume for every other extra dollar I get in income. You take the change in 2, okay, divided by the change in 1 for spending. So we spent 15 of the extra 20, right? And that gives us a 75%. And for savings, we take the savings divided by the extra income. And we got a 20 and we saved 5, or 25%. So we're an economy, first of all, whose income has gone up by $20 billion at each level. You started by what? Dis-savings. We spent more than we took in. Savings was negative. Then as we got an extra 20 billion each time, our consumption went up and our savings increased. Our consumption increased, however, by ever smaller percentages as we made more money, just as we predicted. As we got more money, the percentage we save increases. We have a little extra. We can put it away. But what we did with each of the extra 20 billion at the margin, we always spent 15 billion of it and saved 5 billion, or we spent 75% and saved 25%. Here we can plot it on a graph. Consumption and saving schedules. This is consumption in billions of dollars again. This is our disposable income in billions of dollars. This is the 45-degree reference line. Somewhere up here in the distant future, it will hit the corner of this graph. Remember, we've cut the two graphs down a bit. Okay, so this is the 390 where we spent everything we got. Let's go look. At $390 billion, we consumed everything, we saved nothing. That's here. Prior to this, we were spending, because this is consumption, we were spending more than we were savings. Look, at 370 billion, we dissaved, we overspent by $5 billion. Here we go, 370, we dissaved or overspent, we spent 5 billion more than we earned. Okay. Once we get past here, past 390, the consumption line moves further and further away, a greater and greater distance from spending everything. Savings gets larger. If we go down here, this one shows disposable income, just like this did in billions of dollars. But whereas this measures it up against consumption, this measures it up against savings. And here, there is dissavings. So it's below 0. This is 0. It is below 0 here. This is the minus. Notice, at 270, we actually borrowed 5 billion, spent 5 billion more than we earned. From here on, it is moving further and further away from 0 as our income is going up, our disposable income. We are saving larger and larger percentages of it, and therefore we are saving more and more dollars, okay? Take it a little further. Now, I'm going to actually stop here because I think I want to take this one up in the next video.